The Teal Mask DLC introduced a ton of TMs returning from old generations, but which Pokemon got which moves and which are going to be the most impactful for competitive Pokemon? Let's take a look. All right, so big shout outs to Roy Dadadoo, who compiled this data sheet showcasing the different TMs and which Pokemon learn them. I'm gonna go through this list and kind of highlight some of the Pokemon and some of the moves they're learning and how impactful I think that'll be. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and don't forget to enter our awesome giveaway. It's free to enter. You can win a Nintendo Switch, and all you gotta do is check out my game Elestrals, which is launching this year. We just finished up our Kickstarter fulfillment, or are about to finish it, and we got some really cool stuff coming. So if you like monster catching games like Pokemon, you should check out Elestrals, because I'm creating my own thing, and my office is cool, and I'd love to have you win a Nintendo Switch, so check the description below. All right, so we're gonna mainly focus on the important moves and how impactful they're going to be. Toxic being a big one, right? So Bellibolt gets it. The Dunsparce gets it. Speaking of like really competitive stuff, Goodra being a really big one, picking up Toxic, being a super defensive Pokemon that can stall things out. I think Iron Moth getting Toxic is pretty interesting, and Mew getting it as well is pretty massive, not gonna lie. Then you've got your Galarian Slowbro and Slowking both getting Toxic. Can't hate on that. But I think the biggest winner on this list is probably Umbreon. Umbreon's a Pokemon that utilized Toxic going back many generations because of its incredible physical and primarily special bulk, and then its ability to recover itself with things like Moonlight and overall just be a nuisance with Snarl. So Umbreon getting Toxic back is going to shake up for sure the singles metagame. I don't think you'll see too much of an impact in doubles, but I think it's pretty significant. Spiritomb also gets an honorable mention here for Toxic. I think the next move that's really worth highlighting in terms of new moves is Knockoff. Knockoff, an incredibly powerful dark type move that can remove items from opponents, which is so crucial and competitive. And we see Pokemon like Azumarill picking it back up from older generations. Sea Titan also getting Knockoff, which is huge, especially when you're taking advantage of the hail. I think that's actually really worthwhile. Chestnut picking up Knockoff. I'm not sure it actually ever had that. And you're also going to see Pokemon like Goodra getting Knockoff as well, which is crazy good, right? Like it gets Toxic, it gets Knockoff now. Heracross also returning to the Knockoff squad, and Crocodile really appreciating that too. Low Kicks is a huge one picking up Knockoff in my opinion. A Pokemon that previously was utilizing Throat Chop now gets to hit really hard and knock off those items, so you can't be too mad about that. There's some other legendary Pokemon like the Lake Trio and Mewtwo are going to pick it up, but those aren't going to be super significant. Berserker getting it though is a big win there, and Quaquaval getting it is even bigger, right? This is a Pokemon that can use its step to boost its speed stats and then fire off knockoffs to knock off different items. That could be really advantageous. Then you see things like Roaring Moon picking up Knockoff, which is like, wait a minute, that could be pretty nuts. Scissor getting it, Spidops, relatively insignificant. Funny enough, Thundurus and Tornadus getting Knockoff, but it seems as though Landorus does not. I find that to be really funny. Toxicroak appreciates it. A big one here in Tyranitar picking up Knockoff, which is going to be super nuts. Walking Wake also getting Knockoff. That thing's going to be really scary. Weavile, Zapdos, Galarian form, Zarude, Infernape getting it. Trevenant getting it, I really like actually. And then Poliwrath and Manaphy to round out the list. So some really cool Pokemon picking up Knockoff. Your held items are not going to be safe in Kitakami, that's for sure. Bug Bite is another move that I think is worth mentioning. It's not super relevant on a lot of Pokemon, but Scissor gets it, Slitherwing gets it. Couple cool things like that, Heracross, Cleaver, but you're not going to see it too utilized outside of Scissor in my opinion. Vacuum Wave also makes its return, but it's not going to be all that impactful because the Pokemon that learn it are primarily physical attackers and Vacuum Wave is a special attack. But I will mention that Gardevoir gets it, which is kind of cool, so you could utilize that, and I guess there's some potential usefulness from you as well. Lunge is a bug type move that drops attack stats, so that can be relatively useful at times. We're going to see things like Hawlucha and Heatran pick it up. Probably not too significant there. Cleaver getting it, which isn't bad. Scissor, Slitherwing getting it. Even Tatsugiri and Toedscruel are going to pick up Lunge. Weirdeer as well, but I don't think you're going to see too much competitive usage there. High Horsepower, on the other hand, is a very impactful competitive move, being a ground type move that single targets as opposed to double targets like Earthquake or targeting the whole field. Baxcalibur picks that up. Sea Titan picking up High Horsepower. Clodsire, Dreadnought could be useful. Farigiraf, not going to see that doing too much. Glastrier, Great Tusk being a big one. Heracross really appreciates it. Hippowdon, Iron Thorns, Iron Treads. Crocodile. All these Pokemon gonna benefit from high horsepower. Rillaboom's another one. Sandy Shocks is kind of cool, but probably not gonna use it. Slitherwing, however, that's a big one for Slitherwing picking it up. The different Tauros forms and Tyranitar, as well as Weirder, but you won't probably see it using that. Scald is probably one of the most impactful moves in the game. And in fact, some people say Scald is the best move in the game, and a lot of Pokemon actually get it in the DLC. Dragalge getting it. Alomomola getting it. Goodra is a big one getting Scald. Sinistra getting to Scald, which is really cool. Slowking, Slowbro, Vaporeon, and Walking Wake all picking up Scald, as well as Pincurchin. I think the biggest takeaways here, though, Inteleon getting it is kind of cool. Goodra and Alomomola being Stally are going to be so big with that. Overall, really, really good move to come back into the game. Again, one of the best moves that we've ever seen. Grassy Glide getting a little bit of distribution with Abomasnow, Appleton, Decidueye, different forms. Flapple getting Grassy Glide is kind of cool. Some various Pokemon. I mean, obviously, Rillaboom's going to be the main one. Scovillain, Toedscruel, Serena, Zarude. So some really cool Pokemon that pick it up. Without the terrain, though, it's kind of a tough move to utilize, but definitely going to be huge that some of these Pokemon are getting Grassy Glide back, and Rillaboom super duper appreciates it. I think Flip Turn is worth talking about. Basket Legion picking up Flip Turn, Inteleon getting it. You've got some different options like Quaquaval and Palafin getting Quick Turn, which is no surprise there. Samurot's Hisuian form is pretty cool. Walking Wake and Veluza getting it. Vaporeon getting it as like a nice defensive pivot. Flip Turn being able to switch out and kind of give you that momentum is just a really advantageous play, and a lot of really cool Pokemon are going to be able to do that now in the DLC. Dual Wing Beat, a flying type move that's going to hit twice. There's some really cool options here as well. Corviknight and the Braviary forms getting it. Flapple gets it, which probably isn't that relevant. Hawlucha, Honchkrow, Cleaver, some really cool Pokemon there. Iron Jugulus, the different, the birds, Moltres, and things like that. Scissor picking up Dual Wing Beat, obviously getting that Technician boost. Staraptor and Talonflame benefiting from it. So some really good Pokemon that are going to be able to utilize Dual Wing Beat for sure. Poltergeist is another move that a lot of people were excited to see come back. Banette and Brambleghast both getting it. Decidueye, of course. We're looking at physical attackers here primarily, because those are the ones that are going to be able to benefit the most from it. Sableye, things like Spiritomb, Hisuian, Typhlosion, and Zoroark. But a lot of these Ghost-type Pokemon are special attackers. We do not see Dragapult on this list. I do want to shout out Scale Shot now. This is a move that I think is going to be really beneficial, specifically for Baxcalibur. Loaded Dice, Icicle Spear, Scale Shot, Baxcalibur is going to be pretty worthwhile. Garchomp as well, Crocodile, Quillfish getting Scale Shot, Salazzle, Gliscor getting Scale Shot. Some really cool stuff there. So overall, plenty of awesome moves coming back to the DLC that a ton of Pokemon are going to benefit from. Obviously, Scald being a big one, Poltergeist being a big one, and Toxic Umbreon is going to be huge. Which Pokemon are you most excited to use in Kitakami with these new move additions to their move pool? Let me know in the comments section below, and don't forget to enter our awesome giveaway. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.